Ever wondered what $26 million could buy you outside of Sydney, or what you could actually rent for $9,500 per week within Sydney? So if you are wondering how much that would cost you each week in repayments on 80% loan at 5.5% over 30 years, it's around $13,800 per week in repayments. We're currently asking for $9,500 per week.
It's a unit, by the way, not a house.
So it's sold for $26 million on the 14th of July. 7-bed, 6-bath on 80 hectares.
So the first one we've got on the list is Randwick, $13.2 million sale. So most people are familiar with Randwick, I should assume.
Yeah, so what we're going to be running through is our top 5 sales and or rentals.
And it's an investment podcast. So.
So we've thrown in a couple of good rentals there, and surprisingly, some of the yields on these are crazy.
Yeah,
considering the price.
Surprisingly, $9,500 per week for rent is actually a 3.8% yield,
which is crazy. So yeah, straight into it. This was probably my pick. So it's 8 Higgs Street in Randwick. Sold recently, so the 1st of July, sold for $3.2 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 4-bedder, 2-bath, 4-car on 1,100 square metres in Randwick. That was, for me, that was the pick.
And that's just a prime example of why people don't, I always say don't rely on a median price. The median for Randwick is $3.6 million. And this property's, exceeded that by $10 million and it sold within 5 days.
Correct. So there was a lot of people that thought this was a good pick too.
in terms of a demand metric, selling within 5 days is crazy, because a property like this you would think would go to auction if it's that competitive. But clearly someone just wanted to buy it.
So if you are wondering how much that would cost you each week in repayments on 80% loan at 5.5% over 30 years, it's around $13,800 per week in repayments.
Call it 14 grand.
Just in case.
Yeah, just in case.
So yeah, really cool house, quite close to Coogee Beach. Sold in 5 days, nearly 4 times the medium price for that suburb.
Yeah.
It's just evidence that land in those areas is so valuable.
It's one of those
especially
things.
Especially that amount of land.
If we're talking about that median price, the typical is probably around $4 million. They're the people who are susceptible to interest rate rises.
Yeah.
But the people who are spending, 13 mil, they've probably had some sort of liquidity event, and then they're just buying their primary place of residence or putting it into a property.
So next one is 3 McLeod Road in Middle Dural. Middle Dural, so Dural, that whole area, love through there, Kenthurst, that whole area is really, really nice. So almost like a rurally sort of
It
town.
is. You're in Sydney.
Yeah.
But you're on acreage.
Yeah, you're like 10, 15 minutes from Castle Hill and, but these properties are next level. You just picture like the big mansions with the big driveways and the hedges.
Yeah.
So this one hasn't been disclosed how much it sold for, but it's approximately around 15 mil. North of 15 mil. 6-bed, 6-bath, 7-car on 5 acres.
Yeah.
So the median in that area is around 4.7, but obviously this house is substantial, to say the least.
Yeah.
So loan repayments on this would be around $17,000 a week.
Yeah.
So it's quite high. It was
probably another liquidity event. People have just sold a business or had some sort of exit, and then they've put their money into property.
So it's a record-setting price, according to this. And, if you have a look at the video that's coming up, it is just next level.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it sold within sort of 30 to 45 days.
Which is still a competitive market. Like those properties going for those sorts of figures typically takes a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So, there is a lot of confidence in the market.
So the next two we're going to run through are actually rentals.
Yes.
So thought we would throw these in there just to see, because usually, like generally speaking, you do get a lot of value as a renter in these higher ends.
Yeah.
Usually the yield's quite crappy.
A lot of time when you're sort of spending north of around $3 million, you're talking about 1 to 2% yields.
Yeah.
And I would have assumed that north of 10 million, you're getting less than 1% yield, but $9,000 per week in rent. This is Point Piper, and it sold in 2014 for $13 million, which ends up being a 3.8% yield.
Yeah. 2024.
2024.
Yeah. So last year, September,
Yeah.
currently asking for $9,500 per week.
It's a unit, by the way, not a house.
Yes. And it's a 3-bed, 2.5 bath, 2-car, and it's a 250 square inside internal space. Estimated weekly repayments is $14,500 per week.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you're getting that $9,500. There is a bit of a shortfall, obviously.
Yeah.
But, at that price level, $4,500-5,000 a week in shortfall is actually quite good.
Everyone would assume who the buyer or seller for this type of property is. Can't confirm the exact, but what's been listed online is that ex-Goldman Sachs executive, and the buyer was a downsizer couple from the eastern suburbs.
What a place to downsize into.
So,
and now they're renting it out. So, as we said, the gross rental yield on that is 3.5%, or 3.8, sorry. So,
which is crazy.
Generally speaking, you'd expect about 1.
Yeah.
So, not a bad one there. So, next one is 26
Hopeton
Avenue in Mossman.
Which is one of my favourite streets, probably the second favourite street in Sydney.
Yep.
It's one of the only streets in Mossman that gets the northerly aspect. And this is for lease for $5,900 per week.
Yep, which puts the gross rental yield down to about 2.2.
Yep.
Which is still quite
more
good.
realistic, but pretty good for what it's worth.
So its estimated value is around $14 million.
Yep.
It's 5-bed, 4-bath on a 535 square block. It's got harbour views over Chinaman's Beach.
Yeah.
So very good again.
Yeah.
And you look at it, as a renter, if you're doing the rent vesting sort of, if you're a high income earner rent vesting, you can get a place like this for $5,900 a week instead of spending $16,000 a week in repayments.
And a lot of people aren't borrowing that sort of money when they're buying, but
you would hope not.
Buying at that level. But for an expat or someone who's coming over from Singapore or Hong Kong, or it's probably someone like that who's leasing this property and they're not interested in buying.
So just hold land banking, so essentially just buying and holding instead of leaving it as cash. Last one, this one was absolutely epic. So it's McEverley Road Estate in Robertson, New South Wales.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about 100K out of the CBD.
Yeah.
So it is a fair way out.
This one had a bit of a backstory. I believe the purchasers bought it for $5 million.
Yeah.
So they've obviously made substantial money on it. I think it was listed last year for $30 million.
Yeah.
So they've taken a slight hit, but again, this is a very rare property, very hard to put a price guide on it.
Well, there's no comparative sales for this.
No.
It's as simple as that. So it's sold for $26 million on the 14th of July. 7-bed, 6-bath on 80 hectares, so 197 acres. It's in the Southern Highlands.
Yeah.
So beautiful area again. Mm-hmm. The median house price in that area is actually 1.2 mil, so substantially more.
Yeah.
And in case you needed a loan, so 80% loan would be $20,800,000. That's around $27,000 a week.
Yeah.
If you need that loan, reach out to me. I'm happy to help with that. If you need a $20 million loan, I'll help. So it's a rural estate. It's got cattle paddocks. It's got private bushland. It's 20 times the local median price.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, a lifestyle property. Obviously, everyone will see the video of it, but I don't know if there's any upside there. Whether there's land that's been rezoned or there's potential to subdivide, because there is a lot of land there. So if there is a potential to subdivide it and cash a little bit out and still retain that property, it's value for money, but likely someone just buying it because it's a nice place.
Oh, exactly. That's it for today's Lux listings.
For
if you've got any that you want us to feature for August, send them through to us and we're happy to put them in there.
Yep. See you next time.
Thank you.